Luka is an interesting cat, isn't he? I mean, what player goes from being the next LeBron or Magic to being James Harden, but white? All due to his bad play in last year's finals, despite the fact that no one even thought he or the Mavericks are going to get there anyways. Now, I'm not defending him or anything. He did play badly in that series, and he does lack defensive discipline. However, I'm just intrigued by the lack of these criticisms before the Celtics series. It's not like he suddenly became a defensive liability. He always was lacking in that department. So why now do we choose to notice it? But how specifically did the failure in this series really impact the perception of Luka Magic? I think there are two main ways this series really hit hard when it comes down to our little chubby Slovenian magician. First, context. Unlike, say, for example, the 2011 finals and LeBron James, where despite the major hit that LeBron's image and legacy took, many people prior to the Mavericks series weren't sold on him to begin with. Some even made a career out of simply LeBron hate-watching, i.e. Skip Bayless. Thus, a failure that big wasn't a shocker as opposed to a confirmation. And that's where Luka is different. Many people prior to his major failure actually liked him. He seems like the kind of dude who'd bust ass on the court and smoke hookah off of it. The vast majority believed him to be one of the faces of the league for the coming years. And some even thought that he has GOAT potential. So to see him fail in such a manner shocked many people. They felt betrayed, stabbed in the back even. Thus, he wasn't going to get the preferential treatment that he became accustomed to anymore. People weren't going to tolerate his lack of defensive aggression, nor his constant ref complaining. However, just failure to meet expectations isn't enough to warrant a drastic shift in perspective. I mean, Kawhi Leonard had a much bigger hit due to his shocking upset loss to the Denver Nuggets in 2020. Hence, I believe it's the second reason that also aided in shifting the view surrounding Luka, which is the Boston Celtics, the evil empire, royalty of basketball, the first dynasty, etc., etc. Despite the current roster being mostly cultivated through drafts and not super team free agents acquisitions. Just wearing that shade of green and playing on that hardwood alone makes this team, in the eyes of many, the enemy of the people. A huge section of fans didn't tune in to last year's finals because they cared for the Mavericks or even Luka. It was purely to see the Celtics lose in other finals. So when the Celtics won the championship in an emphatic fashion, it was hate by mere association. The complete unmasking took place. His mishaps and mistakes became crystal clear, and no longer was it brushed aside for his incredible offensive genius. And oh boy, talk about them memes. The bizarre thing is, if you asked anyone around 5 years ago about who had far higher ceiling, Jokic or Luka, most would have said Luka. It's crazy then that in that time Jokic have achieved so much, yet Luka didn't. So what now? Does Luka become just another great player who's forgotten due to their lack of real success? Or does he turn it all around like that German tall guy who also played for the Mavs? In the end, it all depends on what happens in the next few years. Whether he lives up to his elite potential, or was he truly just another underachieving superstar who went on to do more outside of basketball than in it? So what will it be? The Luka special or the Luka trouble?